What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fanatically Speaking. I'm Kent.
I'm Loggoff. I'm the Loggoff legend. And we're here to say everything that every fan is thinking, but louder and probably a little crazier. Get ready. This is Fanatically Speaking with Kent and Loggoff. You know what's funny? Like, I'm not a social media hater. I'm a social media hater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that I get on the internet and start hating people on social media. That's not what I do.
The first half was absolutely horrible. You know, just inept offense, inept defense, special teams, you name it.
I'm going to turn into Oprah. Why were you so angry?
He sucks this season. This game, whatever's going on, right? And the very next pitch, guess what they do? They double homer, and he's like, "Told you, Dad. Why are you always knocking down people?"
You got the highs and the lows.
Yeah. So I do that.
You need the highs and the lows, and
so I do that. Yeah. But
I'm trying to be the voice of reason here.
I am what I am. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fanatically Speaking. I'm Kent, the co-host and promoter.
I was about to say I'm Kent. I'm Loggoff. I am Loggoff, the Loggoff legend. Loggoff legend, hater of social media, co-host and producer of the show.
And we got the Super Bowl episode part 1. Is that how we're going to call it? So we're going to do today, this episode, we're going to do breakdown of the game, make our picks, talk about all the stuff that's going to go into the football game itself. And then later, you'll get a fun episode about Super Bowl, everything that goes with
Super Bowl stuff.
Super Bowl
in general.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the rare, sporting events, specifically in America. Obviously, globally, soccer is, a different animal. But in America, everything stopped for the Super Bowl. I told you, I think I told you it was the first Giants Eli Super Bowl win.
Uh-huh.
I went to the gym. I went to the gym during the game.
Yeah. Completely
empty.
Yes.
One staff member. We had the Super Bowl on every single TV, and I was there the entire time. Like, everything comes to an end, man. Like, it's a national holiday that we don't get paid for.
It really is, and it should be a holiday.
It should,
and
be.
it might need to be on a Saturday night as well, but that's another conversation. I don't know. Maybe it's the same conversation. Yeah. Maybe this is for this episode. I don't know. But yeah, Saturday night. Why even have it on a Sunday night? But all right,
I got some hot takes. We could break into that on the next side. Yeah,
I got you. All right, so let's get into the game. Let's get into the teams. We know we have obviously the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what you want to get into first about it. There's a lot of talk about the quarterbacks because I think the defenses are both pretty even. We talked about this on a previous episode when we did like a small preview, right? And we talked about the defenses and the numbers of the offenses as well. And I think ultimately the game comes down to the quarterbacks. And there's just a lot of talk about them. And for good reason, right? You have a very young Drake Maye in his second year, but MVP candidate. And then you have a Sam Darnold with his resurgence, a former number 3 pick of the draft, 5th team he's on, but he's finally playing like a 3rd pick of the draft. So I think quarterbacks are big, and you've got, I think I just want to get off first that let's just start with the quarterbacks. Is that cool?
Sure.
And let me just start off with one of the worst takes that I heard, and you already know it because I think it was on our text chain. Cam Newton comparing Drake Maye to Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, Rex Grossman, comparing them to quarterbacks who are not typically considered great, right? Some are just veteran quarterbacks that got their, team to the Super Bowl but had a really good year, things like that. I mean, I don't think we can put Drake Maye in that yet, right? Because, again, it is only his second year. but I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, and then we can throw in some other names in there as well for quarterbacks, but just those names that like Cam was naming, and what his take was that Drake Maye did not have any input into the Patriots making the Super Bowl. I don't know if he was just talking about the playoffs or the season or what he was talking about, really. I just know that he said it. I did not listen to the episode that he said it. I just know that he said it. And just with that being out there as a quote by him, if you're going to probably be the runner-up in the MVP voting, I would say you had an input in your team making the Super Bowl. Now, just to compare, like I said, though, we just said like he's in the MVP conversation. It's really just him and Stafford if you want to get serious about it. Those other quarterbacks I named, Brad Johnson, Rex Grossman, Trent Dilfer, any other quarterback that was not a high-level, top-name quarterback that made a Super Bowl with a team, I don't think they were ever in the MVP conversation in their career. And like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's where I wanted to start, really just get that out of the way, that take to me was just not a good take. We're just saying stuff like we talked about before with media personalities and people on TV.
Just takey.
Saying something for your show. Just saying a take to say, oh, look at my hot take. And I love Cam Newton, but I don't like his takes. I didn't like that take. That's not a good take.
Well, I like Cam Newton as a player.
Yes.
I like what Cam Newton's trying to do as a sports personality. I do not like Cam Newton's outfits. And I don't like Cam Newton's podcast.
You don't.
I tried for a legit 2 weeks to try to like the podcast because it was getting a lot of buzz and I'm like, what am I missing? And it wasn't good stuff. This take is somewhat an extension of that. There's a lot of, hey, while everyone's zigging, I'm going to zag.
Yeah.
With a lot of sports takes. I've seen the, we could explore this when it comes to like the Bill Belichick stuff, where it's like, come on, guys, we all know he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer based on, all of his accolades, but we allowed the questions to come into play.
Yeah.
I've seen some people try to zag when others are zigging on that because the word kind of overwhelmingly was, well, of course he should have got in on the first try. Mm-hmm. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
But for Cam's take, I think the difference, I don't want to try to explain a bad take.
Right.
But the first place I ran to wasn't like whether or not a quarterback contributed to this team getting to a Super Bowl. Of course he did. Mm-hmm. Was he the reason? No. Name a team that makes it to the Super Bowl that doesn't have a good defense. You know what I mean? Like it's so rare that it's this great offensive team, but yet they can't stop anybody on defense, and that shit usually comes to a head in the playoffs where you meet teams that have both, and then they end up stifling you. You can't score enough points. Your defense can't stop them, and then they ended up winning. Mm-hmm. But the only comparison that I want to make is for young quarterbacks.
Okay, yeah.
In which Drake Maye qualifies. So I'm looking at quarterbacks who are all under the age of 25, to make, to get a team to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And as I'm looking at them, like the names aren't impressive statistical quarterbacks except for two.
Okay.
And that would be Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The rest of them, pretty good until I name the rest of this list.
Yeah, but those are
right?
those are like really good ones, right? Like top
like
two all time.
Two of the best of all time. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roethlisberger.
He's a good
Marino.
Well, Roethlisberger's good. Marino's good.
Okay, Roethlisberger, Marino. Hold on.
You act, but you acting like they were like you act like it was Brady.
No,
Mahomes.
I'm going for
okay.
Just wait. I'll land the plane. Okay. I'll land the plane. Roethlisberger, Marino, Brock Purdy, David Woodley.
Who?
Jared Goff. Hold on. Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Right?
Okay.
Drew Bledsoe.
Okay.
And I'm purposely holding back on this one last one Mr. Jalen Hurts. Now,
Super Bowl MVP.
Now, hold on. Now, the only reason why I named those names in the order that I did, and I started off high, was because we could talk about Brady and Mahomes. I think out of everybody on that list, and I guess you could put Dan Marino there too. So let's say Brady, Mahomes, and Marino. Everybody else that I named on that list didn't really get the credit of taking that team to a Super Bowl either.
Well, Marino was.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, Marino, Brady. I mean, at the time, Brady was not carrying the team as well.
Exactly, but he built the reputation over time for a quarterback that was capable of doing that.
But he made, he was making throws and plays. Obviously, Mahomes was making plays to get their team there. I mean, I would argue Jalen Hurts did the same.
Fair.
Yeah,
there's really only, I'm talking about the credit. I'm talking about the credit of taking it, which is what I feel like a lot of those guys didn't get that same credit the same way how Drake Maye is. I think it's more of a lack of respect for the young quarterback.
Well, of course it is. I mean, again, the doubt on Drake Maye is going to be that he is so young, second year. Again, fumble issues, but to act like you said, to have that take and compare him to the quarterbacks that I listed, right? That Cam listed, it's like I definitely don't put him in the Rex Grossman, Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson category. But I like that you brought up the under 25 guys, because out of that list, there's really only one name that I'm like, who is that? You know what I mean? So
yeah. These are guys. These guys that you knew.
But at least
these were guys that, like you said, like you were like Roethlisberger and Marino. It's like they've had great careers, but you never looked at them as, hey, they're gonna take their team to a Super Bowl. Type quarterbacks. No. As great as Marino was, he never saw another Super Bowl.
But that list, like you said, all those guys have performed, and obviously different levels. You could talk about that all day. So Drake Maye, I think, is, again, he's so young that to compare him to, again, these other names that Cam did, it's pretty much like you can't really compare them. You could compare them maybe to that list and just say, here's the list of guys who've made it. Now Drake Maye's done it. But I mean,
here's the thing.
We don't.
Just for context,
but we don't know what he. Again, we don't know what Drake Maye's going to end up being. We know he's having a good year now. Mac Jones had a good year in New England, and now he's a backup. You know what I mean? So we don't know where careers go. I mean, Jared Goff. We didn't know what he was going to be, even though he made a Super Bowl. They got him out of town so they could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he still got out of town, and he still played well.
And he's still balling and could be in the MVP conversation if they really wanted him, right? He's putting up good numbers, playing well in Detroit. So yeah, but like I said, to lower Drake Maye already in his second year to just a guy like a Rex Grossman, and not to sit here and bash Rex Grossman, but I mean, he is on a list of like quarterbacks who made a Super Bowl that you would not think would make a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I'll end my point on this in terms of just the age. Drake Maye is the second youngest quarterback ever to play in a Super Bowl, to start in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Behind only Dan Marino. And he literally misses being the youngest by the equivalent of a month, 32 days. So it's unprecedented. Like what we're seeing is a super, super young guy who we haven't seen a lot of, haven't seen a lot of tape. He hasn't. I think a lot of the he's not carrying the team is just because he hadn't had enough reps, he hadn't had enough starts, and he doesn't have enough of a resume of highlight plays for, like you said, for us to point to and say, here's some big plays that, because you mentioned like Brady. You're saying, Brady made big plays in that Super Bowl run. Mm-hmm. We got to give Drake Maye an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Like he hadn't played in the game yet.
No, he hadn't played yet.
Give him a chance, So yeah, that's all I'm saying. He'll have an opportunity. We'll see. We'll obviously get a chance to see what he does, but The quarterback versus quarterback stuff, like I tell you, the quote from Mina Kimes that I love: QB wins are not a stat. I know we want to make it about the quarterbacks, but I think, as this episode goes on, we're going to put together a lot of stuff that goes into whether or not a team wins and loses a Super Bowl, and doesn't really have a ton to do with the quarterback. Like, there's a lot that goes into a Super Bowl.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I do think, though, that it's going to be the key. I think it's the key in this game, the key thing. If not, to me it is. There's, like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot. But, and then we go into Sam Darnold. And to kind of compare, and actually a good take, I think it was Ryan Clark. We're just throwing out ESPN names today. They brought out that in the Super Bowl, like if Drake Maye and the Patriots lose, right? Drake Maye is still praised because he is so young. You know what I mean? And he's got a whole career to, say he loses, you're like, no big deal, right? It's not like his career's crushed. You'll get back there maybe. There's only one quarterback that's gotten back to the Super Bowl after losing, and that's a Mr. Jalen Hurts. So after losing their first Super Bowl.
Is that true?
That is true, yes.
I guess I never thought about that.
Yeah, he was the first one to make it back to a Super Bowl after losing
to lose a Super Bowl and then go right back.
To lose their first Super Bowl.
The first Super Bowl.
That they appeared in, and then he made it back. And he made it back and won. So, boom, in your face, everybody. But then Sam Darnold, they were saying, like if he wins, it's like, obviously it's a big deal. But if he loses, is it like, oh, that's Sam Darnold? You know what I mean? But like I said, we've talked about him. He's had a good year. He's had a good last 2 years. I saw the question, and we talked about this, like who regrets letting him go the most, and I think it is the Vikings because they are a good team. The Jets are trash, but yeah, Sam Darnold, like I say, he does have an interception problem, but he is balling. He looks more confident. Obviously, you got to do it in now the biggest, grandest stage of them all, the Super Bowl. So from his side, from the Sam Darnold side, it's, again, I think it's just the same with Drake Maye. It's just don't fumble. For Sam Darnold, it's don't throw picks because you're going to put your defense in a tough spot either way. But Sam Darnold, the knock on him is it is what it is, right? As I like to say, he's earned that knock, but he's also earned, like I said, the credit for being, now at this stage. The stat that I brought up on Sam Darnold was we did bring up like the time he said he was seeing ghost was against the New England Patriots. So that's when we say he's got to overcome that. That's one of the things he's got to overcome. This is his career versus the Patriots. Now, mind you, most of this was as a Jet and against a pretty decent Patriot team. Bill Belichick, Patriots. He's got 1 total touchdown, 11 turnovers, and his team scored an average 5.8 points a game. Now, he's obviously with a different team. He's obviously with a better team. So that stat really doesn't come into play, but it's fun to throw out there to say this is what he's done against the New England Patriots. But this is a new world. It's a new Patriots. He's on a new team with the Seahawks. Probably the only thing close to being the same is Josh McDaniel, right? That he's the only same thing that was probably there when Sam Darnold was a Jet and they were playing, right?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. That's an interesting stat. A little, faded. Just like you said,
sure.
Just based on his Jets tenure, and this is a different, it's a different type of Patriots team, different organization, like you said, not Bill Belichick led. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it's a different Seahawks squad.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like it's like the team that he has, representing, him on defense, representing him on special teams. Like it's a different. It's not what he's used
Coaching.
to. He didn't even have this good of a team.
Coaching.
Coaching. Oh my goodness. Front office, organizationally, he didn't even have this in Minnesota.
No.
Like he didn't even have this for the Vikings. So like I can give him that. And I respect a lot of things Ryan Clark says. A slight miss on this one for me. Just because it's the shooting the plane down of someone that loses a Super Bowl, I think, is unfair. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of really good quarterbacks that have made it to the Super Bowl and lost. Like, and it's not like it's their fault that they lost. Like we could talk about like the Jake Delhomme, meltdowns and stuff like that. But in most cases, it's not, hey, your Super Bowl team lost their Super Bowl attempt because of the play of their quarterback.
Right.
It's like it's rare. So go give it to me. What you got?
Neil O'Donnell.
Okay.
Giving the Cowboys, gifting them. I mean, he was throwing to Larry Brown like he was a Steeler. So he wasn't seeing ghosts. He was, I don't know if he was colorblind on the uniforms or what he was doing.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was a bet. I don't know. I just know he was throwing directly to Larry Brown that Super Bowl. So
but here's the thing, and that's an example. It's been a lot of Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean that's one. Like I said, normally not. You're exactly right.
Well, and even if you think in recent years, like even if you think about how bad the Chiefs played, in their last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Eagles were getting after them, but no one was like, "This is Patrick Mahomes' fault." It's just not what we do.
Yeah, it was the other team was so good. It was when the Seahawks beat the Broncos, right? It wasn't Peyton Manning's terrible. It was that defense was amazing, right?
Yeah. So let's do this, and I'm just gonna do this real quick because the one thing that I feel like Sam Darnold was drafted in a quarterback class that was pretty well respected.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking at NFL draft classes since 2019, and this is just first rounders. I'm just going to rattle off some names real quick. Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, 2019. 2020, Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Jordan Love. 21, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. 2022, Kenny Pickett.
Baby.
2023, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. And then last year's draft. This is all first round, by the way. First round, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake Maye, Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at, like, Sam Darnold is as good, if not better, than all those names I just listed, dude.
I would say, for the majority of them,
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking, just think about those names, and I mean, like now, I mean, even we can say, okay, maybe out of that bunch, you could have a fist fight between Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence is who's the best guys that I just named there, but at the same time, who would you rather have if you had a team that was stacked? You've seen what Sam Darnold's able to do. I don't know if you take Trevor Lawrence over him because you've seen him struggle too.
No, I wouldn't take
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow just got injured walking to his car just now this morning.
He did.
That's what he does.
I'd still take Joe Burrow, but
okay. Hold on. You could take Joe Burrow, and if that leaves me Sam Darnold, I'm not mad at you for taking Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
because I don't even know if Joe Burrow. I mean, we've seen him play one full season.
Yeah, I think at this point in their career, Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold's a toss-up.
And there you go. And we saw and obviously a lot of Trevor Lawrence stuff was hype and clearly organizationally, and he's had some injuries too.
And a lot of those guys are, like you said, they're super young. They just got drafted, but you can see definitely an upside to some of those guys. I would say on the take right there, when I look at the two quarterbacks, win or lose, I honestly don't think I think it's been an accomplishment for both guys. As when you look and say, I don't think either one's hurt by losing or win. You know what I mean? Like by losing the Super Bowl. It's such a great story for Sam Darnold. No one ever thought he'd be here, and he's here. Drake Maye's already here, again at a young age. So I think it's an accomplishment for both to make the Super Bowl. I don't think they're hurt by losing it because I mean let's be real. No one came into the season thinking Seahawks, Patriots, Sam Darnold, Drake Maye Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, and I think we discussed this throughout all of our football episodes. When we kind of did our preseason picks, it was Chiefs, it was Eagles, it was Bills, it was Ravens, it was teams that have top tier quarterback play.
Yes.
That was where we
That's
went,
it.
and boy did the league blindside us this year. So it goes to show you that it's not just about the quarterback play. Now, obviously, there's outliers. All the Chiefs do with Patrick Mahomes is make it to Super Bowls. It's what they're good at. But they've also had all the other pieces too, and then you throw a great quarterback on top of it, and then the cherry on top is a Hall of Fame tight end, and in Travis Kelce. So, sometimes things are just going to happen like that. But this year is going to be a legitimate Super Bowl, and I don't want people to try to dismiss it just because it doesn't have the flashy names and the the prestige, well beloved franchises that we want to see. Like this is going to be a good matchup, and I guess we'll kind of see how things play out.
Yeah.
Like, is the moment so big that where it takes place doesn't matter?
As far as just
it being in San Francisco, like it being there, in the 49ers building.
I mean, I think it has a small, it might have a small effect on the game. Just like I said, I think there's probably a little bit of, it's very little motivation for Seattle to say, hey, we win the Super Bowl and we're going to do it on the 49ers field. That's just a little extra bragging rights, really. Otherwise, I don't really think it matters. I mean, because fans, you're not like you're going to get a bunch of 49er fans there booing Seattle. You're going to get, Seattle fans and Patriot fans who emptied out their 401k so they could go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know who these people are who can afford to go to a Super Bowl. But yeah, so I don't think that matters, especially when they talk about they get to play in their home, their home stadium or home field, and it's only happened a couple times, I think. So
yeah,
I don't think that matters either. Again, I mean, I guess it does, but it doesn't. I mean, you get to play in the field in the stadium that you normally play in, so that you'd have an advantage. But yeah, I think Seattle, if anything, has probably a little advantage because they do play there as part of their regular season, right? So they've already played there. They already know the stadium. Some of the players who've been there multiple years or, they obviously play every season in San Francisco. So I think that would be an advantage for them.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go.
Okay.
The Seahawks fans, and I mean, I felt like if you live in Seattle, you rich. So maybe it'd be nothing for them to afford the trip, the tickets, and the travel.
Yeah.
So that is an advantage of playing in that building consistently, and I mean we saw the slugfest that it was throughout that entire division, all season. Yeah. Even with their game with the Rams, but so yeah, it was to me it was kind of one of those extra things where it's like, hey, that's an advantage that they have. They don't have to travel that far. Even though teams get there, they kind of try to get acclimated. There's all the Super Bowl hype preview walkthrough stuff. Mm-hmm. But I do think that is kind of a notch in Seattle's belt. But for the Patriots to travel across the country and then have to play them in California, It's gonna be to be that far away from home, and I know it's a business trip.
Yeah,
I do think it'll be more. I think it's more of a detriment than what players actually want to admit. And the Super Bowl itself is a production. Like it's a made for TV spectacle, and it was something you said about like having it on Saturday.
Yes.
The thing is if you do it on Saturday, you're missing out on a day's worth of Super Bowl stuff that you can make tons of money off of.
Okay.
And then everything that takes, you know what I mean? Just events, parties, all the media stuff, all the TV shows. But then even on Sunday, I mean, you know what it's like for a Super Bowl Sunday, man. Like you wake up first thing and your entire day is centered around the Super Bowl.
Yes.
You have Super Bowl coverage on the entire day, just waiting on the game to come on. Mm-hmm. Pre-game shows, prediction shows, all the first takes and all the talking sports heads. Everybody's live on television, just filling gaps of time, running all the Super Bowl ads and all the commercials and everything, and then the game starts. So it's got a lot that goes into it, and I don't see the league like making a shift on it to make it easier on anybody. It's like, no, we're gonna get this money. No. It's all here. Yeah. People are willing to pay for it. These sponsors are throwing these millions at us. We'd be dumb not to stuff it in our pockets.
Well, that's for sure. They're definitely going to make their money.
Yeah.
Okay, so location matters.
It does.
I think it matters. Yeah, I mean, they'll get there prepared. I think, again, clear weather will be obviously we are grateful for that after watching the snow games, ice games, whatever you want to call them. So that'll be a relief. Let's see here. Yeah, so what else? We won't. Defense, offense. Anything coaching stands out?
For me, I think like across the board. So we'll just go defense.
Okay.
I don't have a ton on it. I think the defenses are as evenly matched as they can be. Mm-hmm. The only benefit is that Seattle gets more turnovers statistically.
Yep.
They force more turnovers. And then on the flip side, you've got New England, great solid foundational defense. They don't generate a lot of turnovers, but they're going against a team whose quarterback has given away a lot of turnovers.
Yes.
So it's an interesting kind of yin and yang.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Drake Maye doesn't turn the ball over a ton.
No, but he fumbles.
But the Seahawks are really good at capitalizing on that. Mm-hmm. And then on the other, Darnold, it's been one of his shortcomings, at least early in the season. He got a little better at it.
He did.
But, fumbles and interceptions, like that's hard. It's hard to overcome, and his team has been able to do that. So I think that's where it's a nice, healthy, like, balance and mix. And to, like you said, the question is whether or not he actually, like, melts down. Whether or not the moment's too big for him and he just what's the dude? Oh my God. Nathan Peterman.
Oh God.
If he turns into Peterman and just has 7-8 turnovers in a game.
Let's hope he's not him. Maybe the worst quarterback that's ever stepped on a NFL field.
It is magical, man. If you ever need a laugh, if you're ever feeling terrible, go back and watch like the Nathan Peterman turn over the ball highlights. Unbelievable stuff.
Hey, credit to him. He made the league. But if we're talking about guys in the league, and he's probably been one of the worst. But yeah.
Yes.
You're exactly right. We talked about that before. It's a very evenly when you look at, like I said, defense. Like you said, just one. Seattle gets turnovers more. But it's like which one's going to give, which dam's going to break and leak water, right? Which defense is going to, or which quarterback, which team is going to turn the ball over, and which, it is really so even. And then if you just flip to the offense, that's kind of a combination with the defense, right? I think the offenses are really even as well. Both can run the ball. Obviously, pretty good quarterback play. Receivers, I give the edge to Seattle. But at the same time, I mean, Josh McDaniels is probably the better play caller. So if we're getting into coaching as well, again, Vrabel, McDaniels have been there, whether as a player or as a coach. They've been here. So, we can talk about offense, defense. I think we're pretty even on that, correct?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, we've talked about that. The turnovers are going to be big. Whatever, I think special teams, I would say, Seattle's got the edge with Shaheed. But outside of that, then you get into coaching. I give the edge to New England because, again, they've been there. They know they've been to the Super Bowl. They know. This coaching staff, again, has been under, I guess we can call him, maybe he's going to be a second ballot Hall of Famer, Bill Belichick. But again, they coached under him, played under him. Either way, this staff, they know. They got to, like I said, I don't know every player that played in a Super Bowl, but I know Milt Williams just won a Super Bowl. So just his play on defense and his leadership to help, prepare the younger guys for it, I think is going to be key in this game as well.
Yeah, the coaching aspect of things is different in a Super Bowl because to me everything moves slower in a Super Bowl. We talked about the long halftime for the halftime show and all that. It gives you an opportunity to really just slow things down, look at a lot of tape, review a lot of things, go over schemes. And the other thing that I think a lot of people kind of dismiss is in football, it's pretty well known. It's called the first 15, which is where the first 15 plays of a game for each side are pretty scripted.
Yes.
Here are the first 15 plays we're gonna run, then we'll adjust as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Halftime gives you an opportunity to have a different measure of that, where you can shift your perspective and have a set of plays that you're going to introduce to half. I mean, we've talked about the onside kick stuff with Sean Payton.
Oh yeah.
There's all types of, hey, here's what we're going to do now, that kind of changes the trajectory of how a Super Bowl can go. A lot more thought because the moment is so big. I haven't seen a ton from these coaches for me to lean one way or another, but all I have to go off of is what they've done so far this year. I like what both of them have done so far this year.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's fair to say for both of us that neither of us would be surprised if either team won.
No.
So it's a super balanced, Super Bowl, which makes a good viewing experience for me. Hopefully it's back and forth and it's not like a 17-3 type game. Hopefully, both of them can score more points.
They should. I mean, obviously, they as good as defense as they are, we've seen both give up points, right? I mean, Seattle just gave up 27 to the Rams, a really good offense, you know what I mean? But at home, and maybe could have given up more, right? But their defense held. I think, like you said, the coaching staff's equal, but at the same time, like I said, I just give that little slight edge to New England only because, again, they've been there, played in it. They know the magnitude of the game and how to manage it and how to prepare for it. Yeah, I think like you mentioned, coming out of halftime, we've seen those big plays, big returns, or like you said, onside kick, something like that. I think that will be key in this game. So if just say, Seattle is going to be getting the ball in the second half. If I'm New England, there's no way I kick the ball to, Shaheed if he's out there returning kicks. I'm not going to allow them to get that kind of, I'll just say, well, we'll take the touchback, right? There's going to be things like that special teams, I think, will play a big key in this game. I think, again, I think quarterback play too. I think everything else is kind of just right there. It's just turnovers, which is a part of quarterback play, but I mean, it could be running backs, right? Fumbles, things like that with anybody. So I think they're pretty even there. I just think what's going to happen, I think it's going to take a play like that. It's going to take a big special teams play or what quarterback makes that one mistake. And you mentioned, though, about the teams and the season. I have to bring this up. So we talk about the Patriots, and we talk about paths to the Super Bowl. And again, it's the NFL. I don't care who you play, right? You still got to win the games. You still got to make it. And we talked about that easier path in the playoffs, and some could argue the Seahawks had the easier path. but they earned it with that 1 seed. The Patriots had to play some tough defenses. Here they go again, going to have to play another tough defense. But they're just as good on their defense. So here's who the Patriots beat this year. I don't know if you've seen this. I'm not going to go week to week, but they, out of their 18-week season, well, obviously 1 week was a bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games they played against a team, and this could be twice against a team, by the way. They played a team that fired their head coach or fired a coach.
Okay.
1 week, and then this must be the Steeler game. Coach retired. They had three games against the NFC South. So this graphic, the stat was just saying the NFC South is poop. Two games against the Jets, and we know what that means. And then they had a game against the Bengals. And then, of course, playoffs they played. We talked about the Chargers, the Texans, and then, of course, a backup quarterback in the conference championship. Again, I don't put a lot of thought into it. I just want to put it out here as a talking point because, it's out there. I want to compare it because I want to say, okay, who do I think is more prepared to play a really tough game, right?
Yeah. Who's more battle tested?
And I'm gonna look at Seattle's, and of course, we already know. I think you give the edge, like you said. They played probably the best division in football,
the best division in all of the league.
Yes, and then on top,
they had three playoff teams that
yes,
and one of them was totally debilitated from injuries, and still ended up winning a game. The toughest division.
So
in all of NFL football.
So I want to throw out a few more games that they played during the season. So we know they played their division. They had to go to Pittsburgh and play, and they won. And that's a playoff game. I mean, a playoff team. They also played an NFC South, Tampa Bay. Jacksonville, they had to go to Jacksonville, and they won that game. Jacksonville, a playoff team. So they had a couple other games. Panthers, a playoff team. So they had 3 extra games against playoff teams.
Okay.
Well, 4. No, 3. Yeah, 3. So outside of their division, and again, every game I think is, there's some other games in here mixed around with teams that were decent during the season. When you look at the Vikings were decent. Just depending on who their quarterback was that day. The Falcons were decent. The Colts were decent. The Buccaneers decent. So I would argue the Seahawks obviously played a tougher schedule this year than the New England Patriots.
Yeah, and it doesn't to me it doesn't mean a ton.
No.
To me. But And I understand why people want to bring it up. I think a lot of this is meant to just kind of shift the conversation, just to give you different things to talk about. It's hard to go out and win 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 football games as a team. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. I don't care if you are just playing the Jets, and we could say whatever you want when it comes to, the path that a team takes to get to, a Super Bowl or makes a deep playoff run. The Patriots played in that shitty division forever, the entire time of Tom Brady's tenure.
They did.
And he had to go to the Super Bowl and beat tough teams. You can only fight who's on your schedule, man.
You're right. No, I'm right.
It's not their fault, and we can, The Patriots schedule was what it was, and you can, I think, and I know you didn't come up with the graphic or the point in terms of the teams that they played who lost their coaches, but we're looking at their wins. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Ravens when Lamar Jackson was there early in the year. They won that game. Played a close game against Josh Allen, Buffalo, division opponent, tough.
Yeah.
Cincinnati. They ended up beating them. You can say whatever you want to about Cincinnati, but
really good offense.
really good offense. You know, they beat Tampa Bay. They beat the Bucks. Yeah. And they were a team that tied with a record to make it to the playoffs and just didn't, just based on a technicality. They just didn't get in. You know, so they're, you know, played Buffalo again, beat them. You know, came here, you know, to Charlotte, you know, beat the Panthers, a playoff team. Like, there's things that happen. And I want to give them the credit for doing what they did all year. It's hard to be consistent. And I want to see them have an opportunity to kind of make their own name post Belichick and Brady. But I mean, that we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. But I like their chances, man. I like an evenly matched Super Bowl. We weren't even doing the podcast at this time, but I knew that the Eagles were going to romp the Chiefs last year. I was saying it for weeks. I knew it was going to happen, and everyone was shocked by the destruction except for me.
You did.
I knew that shit was happening.
You did call it.
Yeah.
So that,
and I'm gonna call this one too.
Yeah.
But you tell me when you're ready to go for the picks.
Yeah, I think we're at that point. We've looked at every avenue of this game. So it's time to make our picks for Super Bowl 60.
You want to flip a coin and see who goes first?
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Okay, I told you from when we started talking about it and we knew what the matchup was that for me it wasn't close. It took no thought.
Yeah, you did.
Is your pick similar? Or did it take some waffling back and forth, like weighing of the scales, tipping of the scales?
So I'm a person who, you know, it's like, what's my first instinct? What's my first thought? What's my gut?
Okay.
And then I look at it, and like I said,
then you start overanalyzing it.
Then I overanalyze, and I say, okay, am I still gonna stick with my gut? You know what I mean? So,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
That's how I looked at it. I didn't think it was that easy, but I did. I have a gut feeling.
And my thoughts aren't that far off from yours. I had a gut feeling. I liked what I watched. I know what I saw, and to me, one of these teams is clearly a Super Bowl champion and the other one isn't. And it has to do with the way their season played out, the way everything went for them, all the shit that was talked about them, all the highs and the lows, all the mistakes, all the lucky breaks that they got.
Yeah, right.
The Seattle Seahawks are winning this Super Bowl easily, dude. It's going to be so easy. And I set it up a little bit the last time we did an episode where I was like, hey man, if a team goes up by double digits and they start pouring it on,
it's over.
I see the Seahawks doing that, man. Like,
right.
I don't think New England's going to be able to keep up. And one of the things, and I know I said a lot, but when I mentioned just like the luck aspect of things, I want you to think about the last time you saw a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called in a massive televised game.
Yeah.
That gives the opposing team the ball back. Mm-hmm. Not only do you give them the ball and the first down, on the very next play, not only do they score, but they scored a touchdown on the guy that had the penalty called on.
Yeah, you're right.
And still overcame it to win the game.
Yeah. They did.
Give me the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah. Like I said, very, very, very balanced Super Bowl, very evenly matched. But again, my gut, my first instinct was that it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be, Sam Darnold has earned my trust. He is going to show out. He went to USC. This game's in California. They know the
another connection.
Everything, man. I just think if you look back at that AFC Championship, I mean, there's an argument to be made if Bo Nix played in that game, who would have won that game. Yeah, I think Sam Darnold. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to win. Even like I said, I just think it's going. I think they have a little more power, right? A little more superpowers, a little more weapons to use, whether that be offensively, defensively. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for Sam Darnold. He has showed that he can play. He has showed in the playoffs this season that he can ball out, and I think he's going to continue that. So now,
Well, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. You good?
Yeah, that's all I have on the picks. I just didn't know if you had a thought on an MVP.
Well, no. So to backtrack really quick, shout out to Kenny. What's up, Kenny?
Kenny.
When
True.
When Kenny the Truth is part of our group chats, we go back and forth. Occasionally, we'll talk about some boxing or some MMA or something. And for years, I would make a pick. He would ask me, "Hey man, who do you think is going to win this fight?" And I would always say, my picks are very easy when it comes to fights. If it's like win or lose, it's easy. I always just go with who I deem is the better fighter, male or female. This is a better fighter than this one. I would bet my money here.
Yeah.
Why would I bet my money on someone that I thought was a lesser opponent? I think the Seahawks are just a better team.
Yeah.
For all the reasons that we've stated. Darnold's been through the gauntlet and survived it. He's been outcast by literal franchises. Say, dude, you're not good enough to make it here. I told you, that locker room has wrapped their arms around him. They would go out, when he would go out and have those huge turnover games,
Yeah.
that locker room didn't turn on him. They knew what they had. They knew that defense was stout. They knew that their skill position players were great. And they were like, no, we going to uplift this dude. He going to carry us. We're going to carry him. He has a bad game. We're going to go out there and do what we can to win the game.
Yeah.
That's a football team. And if the Patriots get rattled, they haven't experienced a lot of that all year. I see them faltering, or I see the Seahawks being able to hold themselves up high enough to hang on and win the game. So, had no idea you were going to go with them too, but part of me wanted you to go at New England just so that we had, some betting on the table, but I'll take this.
I almost did, but I'm not, I have to go with, like I said, my initial instinct. And again, we're all about stories. It's all about moments, right? And this is going to be Sam Darnold's moment, and he'll get the MVP. They will win the Super Bowl, and he will exorcise the demons.
Do you think, just real quick, one more thing, do you think a Super Bowl win cloaks his, I don't want to say inconsistencies. I guess to say, do you think that couches a lot of the negative talk about Darnold for him to be able to win a Super Bowl?
Well, yeah. I mean, think about, it'll shut that up and it'll push the blame more to the franchises he played for and the coaching staff and like we talked about. He started his career with the Jets and the Panthers, if that tells you anything. Okay. And the Panthers are trying to shift that. The Vikings, he was a backup in San Francisco, and obviously they're a great organization and coaching staff. The Vikings just fired their general manager because they're like, dude, you let this guy go. Now he's in the Super Bowl. So, I think they have a good but I think that's, does Sam Darnold become one of the greatest quarterbacks ever? I don't know. Right. But will it matter if he's got that Super Bowl? It won't, because he'll always have that. And he can just have that in his pocket forever. And if he wins the MVP again, he'll have that too. And, that's all he really needs. And he seems like, he's a pretty level-headed guy, and however it goes, it'll go. But, it goes to show you a lot of times, again, it takes everything to be successful in the league, right? Coaching staff, team, everything's got to come together. And
drafting well, developing players.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just shows you that you can have talent and just be in a bad spot. And you will not succeed in that spot because you don't have the coaching, you don't have the talent around you, you don't have the management in that franchise. And I think Sam Darnold is definitely an example of that right now.
I'm not gonna make this Eagles centric. I want to believe what you're saying is true, but I don't, because I've seen Jalen Hurts light it up through playoff appearances, make it to Super Bowls, and even in losing efforts when he's been balling out, and even in winning efforts when he ball out, he hits a rough patch, and the media can't wait to jump on his ass. He doesn't even talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I can see Darnold coming out. I can see them winning the Super Bowl. Darnold coming out having a lackluster start to the season and people bash him. I could see it. Like, I can absolutely see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't condone it.
No,
and I don't think it's right.
Yeah, no.
But I can see these assholes doing that for sure.
Well, yeah, no. No, he's gonna still get the. That's just what the world we live in. We used to talk about, man. People wait for you to fail. So
they cannot wait to rip you apart.
Yeah, and I mean, we obviously do a podcast where we talk about this stuff, but I'm not sitting here like chomping at the bits to. Like, I wasn't rooting for Sam Darnold to fail this year. All season, my take was, well, he's got to prove it. That's all I ever say.
True.
That's
true.
all I ever say.
And
It's just prove me wrong and show me different than what I've seen in the past and what you've done. So I can't trust you and I can't pick you until I trust you. And today's episode, obviously, I just said the words, right? He has earned my trust. He has earned my pick.
Trust.
I'm picking him to win the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP. He's going to Disney World.
He better. No, listen, he better.
He's going to be in that parade with Mickey, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The crazy thing is, I've watched a lot of football, man. I've seen a lot of the post game press conference stuff. I don't know what Sam Darnold's voice sounds like, and to have him front and center Super Bowl MVP, that would be cool, and it would be like the ultimate middle finger to previous franchises that didn't give him the support and the attention that he needed to succeed, and decided to cast him off to go other routes. And
look,
the only other teams that we've seen that have had mass success after letting him go is San Francisco. But I mean,
they're a system, man.
They are a system, and that system worked for him. In Minnesota and here in Seattle. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah, I think he's, like I said, we're gonna wrap it up. I just think think about the moment. I talk about the stories, right? And maybe I'm just thinking that I'm hoping for this story, right? Think about when Steve Young won that Super Bowl, right? He had to get that, as they said, the monkey off his back. Like, he couldn't win it Montana was the guy. He couldn't win it, and he won it. And it was like, it's his time, right? Even Jalen Hurts last year, it was like, dude just proved everybody wrong. Of course, like you said, they just forget about it this season anytime he does anything.
4 months passes by, and it's like, is Jalen Hurts going to get better?
Like, again, to his, again, he's so young, though. That's why he's got so much time left to play. Steve Young was about done, really. He had a few more years left in the tank. But Peyton Manning, when he finally got there, finally won the Super Bowl, right? Those are bigger stars, but those are the stories you look at and you say, this guy did it. Like, he overcame this. He proved doubters wrong. He finally got that, moment. And I just really think that it's going to be Sam Darnold that gets his moment.
Yeah, and I hope he does. And and if the Patriots win, I'm not gonna. The only reason I'd be upset that they won is because I didn't pick them. But other than that. But other than that, no. I mean, I just see Seattle winning it. They're the better team to me.
I mean, all I'm gonna do is, you mentioned Kenny, the truth. I know he's gonna have his Sam Darnold jersey on, even though he's a Cowboys fan. He's gonna be wearing his Sam Darnold jersey, watching the Super Bowl. He might even have a red wig on, watching it too. I don't know, but he has been Sam Darnold's #1 fan this season because. Yes, I'm going to take another shot at you. His quarterbacking team just can't make it that far. So.
I'm gonna leave all this in too.
Yes.
No, it's okay. No, he signed up for it. He know what that group chat looked like.
Hey, when you back the star, this is what you get.
Yeah. You gonna get hate. But no, that's all I got, man.
Yeah.
Easy picks for me.
Yes.
Sounds like it took you some. You did some sports math, but
I had to.
It's a big pick, and I understand your angle on it, giving it the
Pause.
thought. But hey, hey, yo. But yeah, man. Seahawks across the board.
Yeah.
We'll see how the game plays out, man. I feel good about my pick.
Yep. Can't wait. It's a wrap.
Yeah, and that's it.
Oh yeah. That's another episode of
outro.
Yeah. Hey. All right, that's another episode of Fanatically Speaking. Again, I'm Kent, the co-host and promoter.
I am Loggoff, the Loggoff legend, hater of social media and all things Cowboys related. I am the co-host and producer of the show.
I think that's me,
again, man.
I think that's me. That's the hater of everything.
That's your moniker?
I think that's my moniker, man.
You know what? Steal it. It's yours.
Hey,
Steal it.
A wise man once said, "If you have hate in your heart, let it out."
Yes, let it out, please.
Clayton Bigsby, not even a real person.
Nah, it's okay, man. Listen,
If you I'm sorry.
Let me take that mask off. Let's see if a head explodes.
Let me rephrase this. If you have cowboy hate in your heart, let it out.
Yes, please.
Yes, and that goes for everybody. But yeah, man, we're everywhere. Like you said, we are on all social media. Well, not all social media, but Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us on YouTube. I'm not trying to take your lines here.
You good.
Yeah, we own all podcast outlets. It doesn't matter. We're everywhere. Listen to us, and that's the main thing. Listen, share, like, follow. Tap that app, and You
say social. I mean, it's everywhere. Everybody else is.
Yeah.
If it's like new social media stuff that I don't know about, that's not my fault.
I mean, we're just not on X.
Yeah, but I mean,
we're not on.
I don't want to be there with all the bots either.
We're not on OnlyFans. Whatever.
I am not on OnlyFans. I'm not on OnlyFans, and I am not on Pornhub either.
We are not doing feet pics. For Fanatically Speaking.
No.
Yeah.
All right. This is off the rails.
All right. Let's wrap it up. That's a wrap.
Let's wrap.
All right.